Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of Max and Nicky 1000th Time Reactions.
Today we're going to be reacting to September by Earth, Wind & Fire.
Earth, Wind & Fire.
I can't tell you how many times I've heard this song.
Like we always say.
Definitely more than 1,000 times.
But also,
Thousands upon thousands.
Earth, Wind & Fire is one of our favorite musical groups, I gotta say. Back to, in high school.
We'll talk about it afterwards.
Sure, we'll talk about it afterwards. We'll talk about it afterwards. I just gotta say, though, we love them.
But as we usually always do, would like to mention that we have another YouTube channel called Max and Nicky, on which we cover oldies, tunes, jazz standards, and originals in that vein. So check that out.
And we got comedy videos on there as well. But
in
for
the meantime,
let's listen to September by Earth, Wind & Fire
for our 1000th time.
All right. September.
September.
Earth, Wind & Fire.
Classic Earth, Wind & Fire.
Classic Earth, Wind & Fire.
You know, we have a very, I guess, personal relationship with the music of Earth, Wind & Fire.
Wind & Fire.
When we were freshmen or junior.
No, we were.
It
not
was when
juniors,
our sophomore years. We
uh,
were in the marching band in high school. Our freshman and sophomore years of high school,
and in our sophomore year, We played tunes.
Our whole halftime show was Earth, Wind, and
tunes from
Fire
Earth, Wind, and
songs.
Fire. Although, funny
our
enough,
freshman year-
September was not included, though, in that.
Sure.
Which is weird. I think that is their biggest hit, actually. But
Sure, but they have a lot of big hits, you know.
Sure, but I think their biggest was September.
Well, I think you think that because it was something. There was a point, I think, in the early 2000s where September was used in a Gap commercial or an Old Navy commercial, and it really repopularized that song. It made it the most popular Earth, Wind, and Fire song.
I mean, I am referring to actually just like I was just looking it up. Actually, I think it was the most popular.
Well, I mean, obviously they have a lot of big hits like Shining Star.
They got also Fantasy.
After
the Love Is Gone.
So we, in our halftime show, we played Fantasy, we played After the Love Is Gone, and we played
In the Stone,
which is not as well known of a song, but
really good.
It might be my favorite Earth, Wind, and Fire song.
No, I think my favorite is the way.
The Way of the World. That's the Way of the World. That used to be mine, but
is it called The Way of the World?
I think That's the Way of the World,
right?
Which is a very good song. And actually, I feel that Earth, Wind, and Fire is the only band to cover a Beatles song and make it better than the original Beatles version.
Which is, maybe sacrilege for some of you to hear that.
But the song that they covered of theirs was Got to Get You Into My Life. But compare the two versions, you will realize how good Earth, Wind, and Fire's version is.
It is quite good. I mean, Earth, Wind,
and Fire... They really do something a lot very different with it.
They must have it must have been kind of hell going on tour, actually, because at least for roadies and stuff, there were so many musicians in this band.
Well, but also, it must have been a lot of fun.
It must have been a lot of fun, though. I mean, they got this horn section, which is what's cool about Earth, Wind, and Fire. They combine a lot of different genres into their sound. They got funk. They got kind of some jazz stuff in there, too. They got some rock stuff. I mean, they really just explored.
All the musicians are top notch. I mean, obviously Maurice White was the leader.
There's kind of a dance music quality to them too,
Sure, disco, Boogie Wonderland was big.
Yeah. I mean, disco is kind of an outgrowth, I feel, of funk anyway.
Sure, but Maurice White was the leader of the band, and he was one of the lead singers, along with Philip Bailey was the otother lead singer. But Maurice White he was a session drummer before the formation of this group, and so he was a top-notch drummer. Philip Bailey, obviously a top-notch vocalist. He can hit those big up notes.
Sure.
His brother, Maurice White's brother, Verdine White, was also a very good bassist. And the guitar work on this is really great too. And
again, those horns, those trumpets,
it's interesting really because listening to that song just now, there are points where I felt like the trumpet suddenly stopped, almost as if that's where the edit was,
I know what you're saying, but I know what you're saying.
Like, almost like, maybe he had continued going, or maybe the trumpets had continued going further, but they decided, let's stop it here,
Well, actually, or maybe it was that in order to come off that kind of intense, thing that they were doing, the trumpets, maybe it sounded maybe a little jarring to come off in the way they did. Maybe they needed to edit that part out or something.
Sure, maybe.
Or maybe it didn't edit it out. Maybe, I don't know, maybe.
It's a great song, but I urge you to check out other Earth, Wind, and Fire songs because sorry, edit that out.
Okay. Nicky just burped.
But they have a big catalog of great songs. Sing a Song, it's a great song.
Sure.
I mean, they have so many great hits, and they're a lot of fun. They're just a lot of fun.
They're a fun band.
But you know what? What's interesting is
apparently they put on a really great stage show back in the day. I wish I could have seen it, but I am sadly too young to have seen that.
Unfortunately, Maurice White he passed away a few years ago.
Sure.
But they still perform live. They still perform live, and I imagine it's a really great live show anyway. They still have Philip Bailey.
Sure, they still have Philip Bailey. They got Verdine White and the slew of other musicians in the band. I was going to mention what's funny is so in sophomore year we played Earth, Wind, and Fire tunes, but the year prior to that, our freshman year, we played
whole halftime show was Stevie Wonder songs.
basically our band director knew he knew what to do. He was doing it
He
right.
knew the good kind of music to play, you know?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Sometimes you get these boring halftime shows.
Other high schools, they would do just some boring tunes. I mean,
Sometimes they would do these pop, these
Modern
modern
pop.
pop tunes.
or,
but-
sometimes, a
could be
common
good, I
one,
guess.
and I
Could
don't
be
think
good.
this
It could be good.
I don't think this is boring, but sometimes you would actually hear often them doing like scores to musicals. So you would hear them do like the score to Phantom of the Opera
that's
or
kinda
selections
cool.
from them, and that's cool. But what's going to make if you're playing a halftime show at a football
You
game,
wanna get the
you want the
audience
crowd
move-
going. These kinds of songs, Earth, Wind, and Fire songs.
I think,
that's going to get
modern pop tunes do
that's
get
gonna
the
get
crowd
them
going too. But I will say, what is conducive to be playing, I feel the most with a marching band is you got horns. Is something like Earth, Wind, and Fire.
It's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer.
Especially
I think he was also inspired because in freshman year, that movie Drumline came out, and they were playing Earth, Wind, and Fire stuff in that movie.
Yeah, but
he
we had done Stevie Wonder before that movie.
No.
came out.
I'm saying Earth, Wind, and Fire was played in that movie.
I know, but he was already. What are you talking about? He already knew like.
No, he knew the tunes, but I think he was probably inspired to be like, oh, maybe we should do this for next year.
Maybe, I don't know, but he's a jazz musician. We actually were in the jazz band in high school too, and he was the teacher for that as well. So he was a good band director.
He's a good guy. He was kind of a funny guy too. Like not intentionally and kind of intentionally too, but
Sure.
I wonder if he was pretty old actually at the time. So
Yeah, he was the jazz band teacher when our older brother was in high school. Actually,
Right.
Our older brother is 8 years older than us, so
Sure.
he was there for a while.
Anyway, we've veered off from our topic about Earth, Wind,
Sure,
and Fire.
I mean, but
that's what's cool
if-
about this band. It inspires conversations about.
If anything, if you're not
past.
as familiar with Earth, Wind, and Fire's catalog, and I imagine you would be if you're watching this reaction video, but if you're not, I urge you to check out their other stuff because they are really, really good. And I think that's about it for this reaction video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and ding that post notification bell to find out about more Max and Nicky reaction videos.
Keep tuning in.